coming out here. It's interesting to look around tonight, and you can see that the attendance here tonight has dropped, and that's going to really speak to what's going to happen on March 10th. I think people are guessing. But in all honesty, I'm not supposed to be here. When I got in this race almost a year ago, there were a few of you that knew me, but most of you didn't know me. And I'm running against one of our city's favorite sons, and over the last several months, I've got to know Romney pretty well, and he's a delightful gentleman. And I really enjoyed our time together, and I say that with complete sincerity. But I also stand before you today with the endorsement of the Sun Sentinel, and I stand before you today with the endorsement of the Miami Herald, and I stand before you today with the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police and the Broward County Police Benevolent Association. And most recently, I stand before you today with the endorsement of the Realtors Association of Greater Fort Lauderdale. I'm very proud of each and every one of these. And each of these organizations interviewed Romney as well, and they didn't find him not to be qualified. He's immensely qualified. He's got a wonderful temperament. But they looked at this race, and I believe what they said was, this is the future of our city. Who's going to be able to deliver leadership in our future without the constraints and the ties of the past, without obligations and favors to friends and neighbors? And that candidate, I think they believe, is me. This is a very important race. We talk so much in this race and all the races about our history. But this race is not about our history. This race is about our future. And our future is at a crossroads. We have options, and we need to be sure that the options we choose provide for a brighter tomorrow. We see questions from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. They're the same questions. One day we're going to get off the merry-go-round. One day we're going to really make those changes. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Rob, and excuse me, and thank you all for being here. It's always nice to be in front of a friendly crowd. And I have the privilege of knowing most of you because I have grown up here. And I want to thank Rob again for this leadership here that you've provided, and thank Coleman for running a great campaign. And I will always admire and respect the way that you've handled yourself, and I take your words seriously, and I think we will remain friends no matter what happens. Now or after the election. And you all know this is an important election. But I'd like to take a little different twist. I'd like to tell you what I don't think this election is about. I don't think it's about old Fort Lauderdale versus new Fort Lauderdale. I don't think it's about the business community versus the neighborhoods. And quite frankly, I don't think it's about change. Because change is a constant. We're always going to have it. But leadership and commitment is timeless. And I think that should be the focus of this campaign. Because there is a clear difference. I have been doing community service for 30 years. I've worked with most of you in the audience, in my Rotary Club, where there's many of you, in the Chamber of Commerce with Mark Budwood, who I was the chair of the chamber, with Broward Housing Partnership, that some of you have been involved in. And I've worked in the not-for-profit community with Strand House and the Bonnet House, and I've worked in the faith-based community. So my ability to work in all aspects of this community, I think, gives me that up. That gives me the one up on Coleman because I've had that experience throughout. The issues are essentially the same. You've heard them. You've heard them since 1979. You know, we're talking about public safety. We're talking about saving taxpayer dollars, and we're talking about quality of life. So to wrap up here, you know, I think this is an historic election, but I do think it's about leadership and commitment, which is timeless, and I think you can make the call there. I appreciate your support. Thank you.